Good morning, Kings. Today we're in Psalm 119, verse 48. I will lift my hands towards your commandments, which I love, and I will meditate on your statutes. At first glance, this looks like a repeat of the previous verse, but actually, it speaks of being in total loving alignment towards God's word. He says, I will lift my hands towards your commandments. This speaks of an outward expression. Your commandments, which I love, speaks about an ongoing desire and enjoyment. And finally, I will meditate on your statutes, speaks to the internalization of the word. Basically, the psalmist is following God's word with all of his might, his soul, and his heart. Later on, the Greeks would add to this list and add the category of mind, splitting the category of heart into two. And that's why we have your heart, your soul, your mind, and your strength, especially in the New Testaments, because the Greeks added it to the Septuagint translation, and that's what the New Testament authors were quoting. But in any way that you slice it or dice it, we're talking about the physical, intellectual, and emotional ways that we love God through his word. As it says in Deuteronomy 6:5, you shall love the Lord your God with all your heart and with all your soul and with all of your might. And we see that this love has both an outward and inward expression, as shown to us in Joshua 22:5. Love the Lord your God, walk in his ways and keep his commandments. Cling to him and serve him with all your heart and with all your soul. As we can see from this text, we have the outward expression of walking in his ways and keeping his commandments and clinging or holding fast to him. But this ultimately comes from the inward perspective of loving him with your heart and your soul. Basically, our outward expressions are directed by our internal love for the Lord. The combination of these three things is what leads to authentic love for Christ. Can you imagine for a second? Love without one of these three. Love without action would just be empty words. Love without intellect would be shallow and surface level. Love without emotion would be cold, rigid, lifeless, and legalistic. James, the brother of Jesus, speaks about this in his epistle, albeit he's talking about faith and works. If a brother or sister is poorly clothed and lacking in daily food, and one of you say to them, go in peace, be warmed and filled, without giving them the things needed for the body, what good is that? So also faith by itself, if it does not have works, is dead. But some will say, you have faith and I have works. Show me your faith apart from your works, and I will show you my faith by my works. At the end of the day, what's being said is authentic love for God and his word requires all three. You cannot have the internal but lack the external. You cannot have the external but lack the internal. If you truly love God, you will not just internally enjoy Christ, but outwardly take care of the things in which he loves, his creation. For your reflection questions for today. How much consideration do I give to the three areas of loving God and his word? And which of these three areas, that is the physical, emotional, and intellectual, needs to be more in alignment? Well, that's it for today. I will close with an example of David using his intellectual love to help align his depressed soul to worship. Bless the Lord, O my soul, and all that is within me. Bless his holy name. Bless the Lord, O my soul, and forget not all his benefits, who forgives all your iniquity and heals all your diseases, who redeems your life from the pit, who crowns you with steadfast love and mercy, who satisfies you with good, so that your youth is renewed like the eagles. Have a great day, Kings.